Hi everybody, thanks so much for tuning in today for my mini tutorial on how I prep the nail and apply the tips. Jumping right into it, you see me here, I am just pushing back the cuticle area, trying to get off any little bit of extra cuticle that's on the nail plate that I can get off, the loose cuticle area. You don't want to be too rough. I know I sped this up so it looks like I'm pushing really hard, but really I'm not. I'm using minimal effort, just getting everything that's loose and pushing back the cuticle skin so that way I can go in with my round drill bit head and then remove what's left on the actual nail plate, as well as kind of lift back the cuticle skin. This is where I'm taking that round drill bit head, and like I said, I'm just removing any extra area and kind of pushing up the cuticle skin so that way I can kind of tuck the acrylic under, get a nice seal. If I do this and there's a lot of extra skin lifted, I will go ahead and with my cuticle nippers and remove those. This client here, she actually does her own soak offs and stuff like that. So she pretty much kind of prepped her she keeps her cuticle areas pretty well maintained, so I don't really have to do too much, just kind of get off the extra that's sort of on the nail plate. Alrighty, and now I'm going to take my 180 sanding band and I'm just going to run it over her nail. Now, generally, because she can do her own soak offs and stuff like that, she doesn't get fill-ins. She pretty much just get new sets almost every time. So honestly, her natural nail is a little bit thinner, so you'll see her, I'm not really doing too much. Really in general, you don't want to drill too much, but because it is so thin, there's not really much available nail to file, because if it gets too thin, that's when it starts burning, when the acrylic is like curing and stuff like that. So you know, I just kind of want to like pretty much just get off that shine and try to get off as much of the natural nail oil that comes out, as well as like all the extra cuticle area that's on her actual nail plate that I didn't get with the drill head, with the round drill bit head. I don't know, what do you call that? Anyway, so after I remove and do all the cuticle prep, nail prep, take that 180 sanding band, you see me here, I'm just cutting down her nail. When you are cutting nails, natural nails, you want to be really careful of people's hypernychium, which is the skin that connects your nail plate and your finger. That should not be touched. If you have clients who are pushing it, definitely advise them stop pushing it down. It creates a seal so you don't get stuff, gunk, dirt, germs caught in between in a dark place. And what happens then, you start getting mold, you know, fungus and just infections under your nails and stuff. So always make sure you're careful with the hypernychium. Now I'm just taking my C-curve nail tips, sizing from sidewall to sidewall. Because her nail is actually so short, just naturally, she's a small lady, she got little hands, so her nail plate is so little that my advice, because at the tip is wider, of course, and then it gets like smaller towards the cuticle area, which is normal, but the pointy parts on the nail tip, those little corners, I kind of file those just a smidgen. Some people, I just completely cut them off or cut them at an angle, but hers is just a slight graduation from the nail tip towards the cuticle area. So I like to just file that so it fits real nice. You don't want the plastic nail tip on their skin, on the sidewalls, just all, because it's going to be really hard. You're going to start to file, it's going to burn, you might cut them, all that kind of stuff. So you just want to make sure that it fits really nice, and also that you're not using too much glue. I definitely, you know, sometimes it's a little hard. Some people kind of like twist their hands so they're not level, so that it's like your liquid and all that stuff is just running everywhere, you know, whatever, you know, issues you might be having with that. So you just want to make sure that you're not putting on too much in case they are moving around and stuff like that, just enough to adhere the nail tip. It will actually damage the nail if you have like too much glue on it. So you just want to be careful of that when you're applying your nail tips. I also want to apologize. I sound I know I'm doing voiceovers and I sound really congested sometimes and sometimes not. I have really bad allergies, so sometimes I get like a moment of clarity and sometimes not. So excuse how I sound in this video. I hope it's not too annoying to you guys to hear me just, you know, trying to get through this. So I apologize, but hopefully this will be helpful. Now that all my tips are applied, I'm going to measure out, get an idea of where exactly, like how long she wants them. She wants the pinky and the index fingers to be stilettos and the middle ones to be coffins. So my suggestion is to leave the index, the ones that you're going to do stiletto, a little, just a teeny bit longer than the coffin ones, because by the time you get them filing, they'll be the same length. You don't want them longer just to like look longer all the time, and you want them to be even once you're done. But prior to that, just while you're doing this cutting, you want to make sure that you leave those just a tad bit longer. Then I go ahead and I make sure I measure them. You always want your nails to be even. Your client will notice, you know, if you think they won't, they will. You kind of do the nails and then they go, you know, away and you forget, you don't think about it, but they have to sit there and look at it and stare at it and stare at it. And so it's annoying. So just make sure that you're keeping them even. After I cut the length, now I'm going to go in and cut the shape. So for stiletto, I find the center, then I move slightly to the left or the right, depending on what side I'm cutting, and I cut off the majority of the side wall area. This is just how I do it. This is like a better angle. See, I find the center, move off to the right a little, and then cut. That way it's even, the tip is smaller than a ballerina, but not quite where I just cut out a stiletto, because you don't want to cut too much. You still want to shape that stiletto to their actual finger shape. Some people have flatter nails, some people have rounder nails, so you want to make sure that when you're cutting it, it's to their nail, how their nails look, aesthetically pleasing. So, and of course for my coffins, I've done video, you just a little bit off the sidewall, just a little bit of that, to cut down on just a smidgen of my filing time. After I cut them, now I'm going in and just shaping them up, making them lines crisp and clean. If you do this really well first, then you won't have to later on doing a whole lot of filing off your acrylic and stuff like that. Now, some people, I take my file and I just blend in their natural nail with the tip. Her nail being so thin, I started to on the thumb just a teeny bit, and then I was just like, no, I'd rather just go over it with my e-file so that I can really target solely just the tip, the plastic tip, as opposed to even touching her nail at all, because I'm really trying not to file her nail at all anymore, since, like I said, she did her own soak off, so she did a lot of the filing already. I definitely recommend, kind of like not pushing on your clients, but just letting them know, like, it's not annoying, it's not tedious, it's not anything like that. It's for the just general health of the nail and application and making sure that you're keeping a really nice natural nail. It's easier for you to just do it yourself. That way you can make sure that you're not losing your patience or anything like that. The time is chiseled out in the day already for you to nicely, safely remove the old acrylic and apply the new acrylic. Also, definitely a tip, while you're filing, make sure you're supporting your nail tip. You don't want to hurt the client by not supporting. See how I've got my ring finger on the nail tip, keeping it, sturdy and from flying everywhere. You don't want to let your nail tip, your file or your nail tip, just have your nail tip pushed to everywhere. I don't know, to me it hurts. I know if I were to do it on myself, it would hurt. So I just assume on a client that it does also. So just give yourself some of that extra added security and just keep your finger on the nail tip so that the nail tip isn't just, roughly flying all over with the nail file. Okay, and now I'm taking that 180 sanding band and I'm removing, or like more like blending the actual tip area with the natural nail. Like I said, I'm really trying not to file on her nail too much. That pinky I touched with my hand, so I kind of wanted to just file off any oils I might have had from my hand on there. But, you're just really focusing on the actual plastic tip and not their nail. You don't want to burn them or hurt them or anything like that. So you just want to make sure you're moving quickly and that you're just taking off the plastic, especially with her nails being so thin. I really, really, really am trying so hard not to file her actual nail. You don't want to have, like, my clients can wear glass nails, which means they can wear clear, crystal clear nails, no problem, because I make sure that I blend properly and I don't create that ring of fire or that fire line that you can see under the acrylic. And the reason why I don't do that is because I take a lot of time, well, not a lot of time, I take my time in making sure that everything is blended correctly without doing damage. The reason why I keep my clients is because they all love that I take my time. I make sure I do cuticle prep, fingernail prep properly. They don't have all these damaged fingernails lifting, coming up, breaking off, etc., etc. So your prep is really, really, really important. This, like I said, is a key step, making sure that you're not creating any ring or line of fires. Okay, and this is our finished look. Make sure you like and subscribe. Check out my Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok. Thanks so much for checking in, you guys. Bye.